Just a short video to show you how to repair your Ryobi One Plus sprayer if it's quit on you all of a sudden. And it's a pretty simple fix. And here are the tools that you're going to need. A 5/32 chainsaw file, a number 10 Torx screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver. You may need the flat and a knife. Very, very simple. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with removing these 19 screws out of the body. And make sure that this part here is lined up so it'll come apart. And I'll go do that, and I'll come back in a moment with the as I progress on this. So I've removed the 19 screws. Remove this one because you're going to lose it. And remove that one entirely because you're going to lose it. And then what you have to do is go to this label right here, and along the seam you need to cut it, because if you don't do that, the two halves will not separate. Next, what you do is you just start gently prying it apart. That just comes straight up, and lift it off to the side. What you're going to see here, there's your suction tube, there's a pump. Actually, this whole unit is very well made. It's very well constructed. So that just moved a little bit, so make sure afterwards that it's going to work properly. And then what we have to do now is we have to get into the pump, and we have to remove these 5 Phillips head screws. So with the 5 screws removed, now we have to just pry the pump body top off. This is a diaphragm. We don't have to remove that. But what you're going to see is the problem here is these are check valves, and for them to operate properly, they're in seats, and what you have to be able to do is, or they have to be able to do, is to move up and down freely, and they don't. They get wedged in here. That little spring is supposed to return it, but it's jammed in this seat. So what's happened is either this portion of the valve, which is the valve seat and a guide, which is in here, one of them has swollen up a bit. This here should be going back and forth freely, and it's stuck. So because it gets stuck, it can't open and close like it's supposed to. So what we have to do now is open this seat up here just a little bit, the guide portion of it, and that's what we use as the 5/16 chainsaw file. It's a very gentle file. It's not very coarse, and we just work with it back and forth a little bit until it'll go right through and put it back in. So I'll stop the camera and just finish up on this, and I'll show it once it's done. So what I'm going to do is, the other valve is the opposite way in the pump. Make sure that you don't lose the spring down there. You can put that on after. But again, the same thing is happening here. It's this valve is stuck in the guide, and it doesn't want to work properly. This one here, I have opened it up, and you can see now just with the pressure of the spring, it will get it to move. And that's what it needs to be able to do. It has to be able to open and close. So I'm going to clean the last one up, and we'll reassemble the pump and put the cover back on and give it a test. I've got this one all cleaned up, and I've put the spring back on it, but you can see how it wants to move. It's just got to be free in there. This one goes in straight this way, and it gets pushed in. Make sure it's in square. You can use a little screwdriver. The other one is the opposite way with the spring facing up. Same deal. That goes in, and then your pump goes on the top, the top part of the housing, and we put in our screws, and then button the whole thing up. Okay, I've done the priming, and hopefully you can see that fog coming out of there. And before we had absolutely nothing. So that's all it is. Now, possibly Ryobi's going to come up with some replacement parts, but what's happened here is either the soft valves or the seat have changed its dimension in a short period of time. And I've seen this happen with hand pump sanitizers where they give them excessive amount of clearance, but then they have to wait 6 weeks for the plastic to get to the final dimension in its solidifying type process. But anyways, we have a working sprayer now, and it's better than squeezing a hand bottle. Thanks for watching.